Jai Shri Krishna, and today we will do the Gita lesson 3 for beginners. And I hope you have listened to the first two videos that I posted up on YouTube. The first one is called Gita lesson 1 for beginners. The second one is called, I think, the Mahabharata, which I've explained extremely briefly. I have also tried to explain extremely briefly the Dharma, and that the dharma of a soldier is to fight, just like the dharma of a surgeon is also to, well, cut open the body and, fix whatever is wrong inside. So we all have our own dharmas. Besides what is popularly understood that it is duty or religion, it is really more what the circumstances are of ours and how to move on. But anyway, coming back to the Gita, what happens is just before the war, Arjuna is faced with a dilemma. And this is a book that call it a book, call it a compilation of Gita little by little. So I'll try and read, which makes it, because I have already, the way I have put it, I have already tried to put it the way I would probably speak it and explain it. So just before the Great War, Arjuna became despondent. He did not know which course to adopt. Would it be better for him to fight and have so many people killed? Or should he renounce the kingdom and take to a life in the forest? This question also appears many times in a man's life when faced with difficulty. I often say that if you're going to do the Gita, don't stop after the first chapter. Because here, if you go for the original long Gita, well, it's not a very long scripture, but whatever. If you go for the more detailed one, you will realize that Arjun arguments actually are very, very. In fact, you wonder what Krishna is going to answer to this, because he says, "I don't want so many people to be killed. These are my relatives." And I prefer to take to a life of the forest, because he even says, even if he wins, how is he going to enjoy it? But as I said, don't stop here. The Gita has to be followed up to see what Krishna says and how he keeps answering Arjuna. So this question also appears many times in a man's life when faced with difficulties. When one is restless and life seems difficult, we would like to give up. Krishna explains to Arjuna that to fight, to face difficulties with courage is the right path. Arjuna asked Krishna many more questions, which the latter answered in a simple, forthright manner. Krishna explained to Arjuna that he should only be concerned with performing his duty. I would say here dharma, because as I told you, dharma is much, much more than duty. To the best of his capacity. Krishna explained to Arjuna that he should only be concerned with performing his duty to the best of his capacity. The fruits of results of the action lie with God. Krishna said, and this is what I say in brief, do your best and leave the rest. What Krishna is going to say here is one of the, in my mind, it is the most important piece of advice. He says, Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhur mate sangosva karmani. The above dialogue is recorded in the Mahabharata, as known as the Bhagavad Gita. But I would say here that this is my favorite verse, because he says, you're right. He's telling Arjuna, your right is only over your action. Now you are a soldier, you are a husband. Your duty lies in actually avenging, because avenging in the sense that it was a humility, unprecedented humility for Draupadi. She was the daughter-in-law, the queen, and she was dragged because her husband lost her in a game of dice. Yes, it was wrong of the husband also. But having said that, to disrobe her, to try and disrobe her, and then he's a soldier, and today he's talking, he's saying, if you were a son, Krishna maybe doesn't say that, but he says, Because at a later chapter, he will say, when Arjuna asks Krishna, who's greater? Is it somebody who does a karma yogi or a sannyasi? He doesn't really answer. He says to be a true sannyasi is indeed not so easy for the embodied to give up everything because desires probably continue. But anyway, I don't want to put words into Krishna's mouth. Read the Gita yourself. But this I'm giving you a Gita in brief, in which he tells him that your rights are only over the action. At this moment, concentrate on the fact that you are fighting this war. And what happens with that war is not your concern. So, again, as I say simply, you have to do your best with whatever circumstances we are faced with, and then just leave the rest. Because over that, Krishna says in the Gita, you have no right over. You have no right over the fruits. You may do your best. So many businesses fail. You study so well for an exam, you fail. But according to Krishna, if you have done your best, you have not failed. So I leave you here to think about this, and I'll see you again for lesson 4 in the Gita. But I will continue to see you on YouTube or in Instagram or on Facebook if you are following me. But until next time, you take care and God bless.